like to welcome everybody to our July the 26th County Commission meeting. We're going to start the meeting with Commissioner Hancock's going to lead us in a prayer and our Pledge of Allegiance. If you'd like to join us, please stand.
Thank you. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, dear Lord. Thank you for all the blessings and the many opportunities that you give us, dear Lord. Thank you for this crowd that we have here today, and hope they have safe travels here and safe travels back home. Just be with Allison today as she is recovering from a minor illness, and just be with this board and just give us the strength, courage, and the wisdom to do your will. These things I ask in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have two items on the agenda that are going to need a change tonight. Number one is we want to defer item number 2 on the consent agenda because of a little information that's needed on that. And then also under the consent agenda, we're going to add number 4, which is to reschedule the timing of our September 27th meeting. So do I have a motion to make those changes?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wallace, second by Commissioner Maxey to approve those changes. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wallace?
Yes.
Commissioner Maxey?
Yes.
Commissioner Hancock?
Yes.
Chair Bagby?
Yes.
Motion carries.
We have several people that are signed up to speak tonight. If any of you that signed up for public participation are going to would like to speak at the millage rate public hearing, you can wait till that time to do it, but you'll be given an opportunity if that's your subject matter tonight. So I'll call your name, and if that's your subject matter, you can let me know if you'd like to wait till that time or not. The first person is Ken Wright. Hey, Ken.
Good.
Well, my conversation is about taxes.
Before you do that, when anybody comes up, could you give us your name and your address?
Okay, Ken Wright, P.O. Box 324, Silver Creek, Georgia, 30173. So what I want to speak about is about the taxes, about the property taxes. And I just had a great conversation back here with our tax assessor, so now my speaking points have changed a little bit, but it's related to a potential increase in property taxes. So currently now, with inflation in the nation at 9.1%, which is what is being promoted, we know it's actually higher. Gas is increased 300%, lumber's 200%, food 150 to 200%. People are struggling to survive. People are having a hard time. So people are paying 2 to 3 times more than they were for everything: food, gas, utilities, housing. And with the commissioner's goal and responsibility to be the voice of the people, every voice I've heard says, we do not want higher property taxes. So, but there needs to be solutions to that. So I'm going to take a position that may not be popular, but my biggest concern is that when you pay your property taxes, 2/3 of property taxes is school tax. And so my concern is that we run police, fire, public safety, public works, fire, sewer, water, you name it, everything else on less than half of what we're giving to schools. So we're running the majority of our operations in this county for less than half of what we give to schools. And then on top of that, that's always not enough for schools, and we propose an ELOST under the premise that it goes to kids, which, you know, the money doesn't go to kids, it doesn't go to teachers or parapros or bus drivers or any of that. It goes to facilities, it goes to buildings, gymnasiums, classrooms, HVAC systems, things like that. We also know that we've spent that money before in the past, and we've put new roofs on buildings and HVAC systems that'll last 25 years, and then we closed the school within 2 to 3 years after we've done it. So that just seems to be maybe a misuse of funds, or we're spending money where if we'd had some foresight, maybe we wouldn't have put so much money into these kind of things. But along this line, with people struggling to survive, I guess my main point is there's certain people, not myself, but elderly, but like my dad. My dad's 84 years old, okay? My dad has no more income. His income decreases. He got a little bump in Social Security, but Medicare went up higher than that, so he has less income. But for his property taxes to continue to go up, and they do, even though his house is now exempt, but you still pay school tax on a building and a shop, and he's got 10 acres of land, on and on. He has no way to get that money. He can't go to work. That leads to the point that there is no freeze for a certain area. So I'm not 65, so this isn't for me, but for those 65 and over, there should be a freeze. And so we've got a freeze maybe on the county side, but there is none on the school tax side. I know y'all don't control the school taxes. I know the school board does that. So here's my main point, I guess. Is there not a time for the county officials to come together with the county school board and y'all discuss this openly? Because I know Glenn White has already mentioned that they would lower their millage rate. They did. He proposed lowering it. That's great. So possibly, is there no way that y'all can come together, discuss with them so that maybe the county schools could accept 40% of the property taxes, where all the other areas of the county would get 60%, thereby we wouldn't have to raise property taxes, M&O would be more funded, county schools would have enough funding. And the main benefit is the citizens and property tax owners and in this county and city aren't hit with more property taxes. It's hard for people right now.
Ken, your time is kind of up, so if you're close to the end.
Okay, yeah, it's getting close to them. Okay, well, this is more for the school board, so I'll save that. But the point right now that I said is, my main point is, we need to represent the citizens of this community. We need to listen to the voice of the people in Rome and Floyd County. Nobody wants to pay increased property taxes. If there's a way to resolve this with the school system and the county to come together so that the county has more money to do the things that the county needs to do with power, water, fire, safety, all these things, and the school board still has enough money, I would just like to y'all to have this open discussion if y'all are willing to do that. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next is Cheryl Wall.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Cheryl Wall, and my husband and I live at 28 Westwood Circle, Southwest, in Rome, 30165. And to dovetail with Mr. Wright's comments that he just made, I've been a citizen here in Floyd County since 2006. My husband and I have a business here in Floyd County, also extended now up into Chattooga and Walker County. So we've grown along with the county and raised our sons here. Both of our children have graduated from college, one from Berry, one's a senior at UGA. He'll be finishing up this fall. My question to you really stems along the lines of what we're seeing with the tax increases, but what concerns me is that the financial statements from 2021, which are typically have already been promulgated and released, are not available yet. So my question is, when could we expect to see that? There's been such a change in finances, both revenues and expenses, that someone like myself, a business owner, typically looks to see what appears in the audited financial statements. When would we expect to see those?
I can respond to that. We can give you an unaudited financial statement for position for 2021. Our audit had to be extended due to some work in one of the constitutional offices that we have no control over. So that has caused a delay. We're hoping to close this in August, but you can have the preliminary numbers, and the only changes you're probably going to see is from that individual department. But I can get those to you.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, if when I call your name, if you're going to speak at the public hearing part of the millage rate, just let me know that at the time. Next on the list is Christine Krupp.
Good evening. My name is Christine Krupp. I live at 50 Chateau Drive, right here in the beautiful city of Rome, Georgia. and I'm actually here because of the property taxes. You know, I'm a business person. I've always been a hairstylist. I moved to Rome 3 years ago, and I was in business for myself down in Atlanta for some 33 years cutting hair. And you know, when times are good, that's when you raise prices. And you know, when times are bad, you don't raise prices. I look around in this room, and I look around here in Floyd County, and most of us are blue-collar American workers. We work hard for everything we have. And then we have a lot of our seniors here, and they just cannot afford these tax increases. It's a shame. We don't want to tax our elderly out of their homes. I've seen it done before, living down in Atlanta. I've seen older people lose their homes that they've lived in all their life because of ridiculous property taxes. I've seen younger people not be able to buy a home because property taxes are so high. We don't want that. We want this town to flourish. We want it to grow. We want people to be happy. We want our economy to grow. But when we're taxing them heavily and taxes keep going up and up, someone's got to be accountable. We want the best for our children here in these schools. We want the best for our police officers. God knows I love our police officers. I'm a biker. I love them. And I respect them. I want them to have the best equipment, the firefighters to have the best equipment. But at times, when they're bad, you cannot raise taxes. Look at the gas. Gas, you may say, oh, well, it came down 30 cents. Yeah, but in November 2020, I've got a picture on my phone. I was paying $1.77 a gallon. I went just last week and bought 18 eggs at Walmart. 18 eggs cost me $4.80. I went and bought stuff to make a salad at work because I do eat at work, and it cost me $30. And I'm on a strict diet, so I don't eat a whole lot of stuff on my salad because I don't like it personally. But my whole thing is, there's a time to raise taxes, and there's a time to say, wait a minute, let's tighten our belt here just a little bit. Let's help our citizens. Let's grow our county. But y'all are always wanting to build new houses, but if they're so high, the younger people can't afford them, they're just gonna sit there? I've seen that happen. I saw it in Dunwoody, Georgia, where I'm originally from. I've seen them build, have the plumbing sticking out of the street, and nobody built the houses because it was not affordable. And I'm just telling you, we need a break here in this county. And I would like to ask for some accountability. Just tighten that belt just like you would do at home. If somebody lost their job or something, you'd tighten that belt just a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Vicki Sutton.
Good evening. My name is Vicki Sutton, and I live at 1469 Little Texas Valley Road. I've been a resident of Floyd County for about 35 years. I would like to speak to you about getting rid of the electronic machines we vote on. According to Georgia Code Title 21 of 2020, Chapter 2, ballot markers shall produce paper ballots showing voters who they chose to vote for in such a way the voter can read it with their own eyes. When you go up to the ballot marking device and make your selections of whom you want to vote for, you then review it and print your ballot. You read over your paper ballot and make sure all the names you've chosen are there. Then you take your ballot to the Dominion scanner, which ironically looks like a large janitor's trash bin, and you scan your ballot into the machine. The scanner takes a beautiful picture of your ballot, but that's not what the scanner counts. The scanner files your image away, but it counts what is located in the QR code box at the top of your ballot. You cannot verify what is listed in that code with your own eyes. This is the code that's actually going to relay who you voted for to your precinct and the Secretary of State's office. The equipment is illegal. Even Judge Amy Totenberg, in her opinion piece on pages 81 and 82, suggested the QR code on the ballot does not align with Georgia's election law. The good news is you commissioners can choose to get rid of the equipment and vote via good old paper and pen. According to Georgia Code 21-2-334, 2020, it basically states, if a method of election in which the use of voting machines is not possible, or, as I just explained to you about in the case of the QR codes, not practicable since it's illegal, the officers of the district may opt to use paper ballots instead. I beg of you to allow us to vote with paper and pen in the upcoming general election. A lot of citizens in our county do not trust the machines, and that's why we've had a decline in voting in the Senate runoff and why the primary didn't have a good turnout. It's now appearing as if our state has lost the consent of the governed. No matter how much money we lose for booting the machines, there's no price too high to pay in order to have election integrity. I pray you will do the right thing, the hard thing, but the right thing, and boot the machines. I agree with everyone that has spoken about the taxes. I agree that we are in a high inflation, and I could eat crow all day long if I'm wrong, but stolen elections have consequences, and we're paying the price now. Thank you.
Thank all of you for expressing your opinion. We appreciate it, and we hear what you're saying. The next item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of our July the 12th meeting, our caucus regular meeting and executive session. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, would those stand approved as submitted? We've got a special part of our meeting tonight that we enjoy every time we get a chance to do it. The many things we've got to be proud of in Rome and Floyd County, the biggest thing that we've got up here is our employees, our county employees, and we want to recognize those that are here tonight. And Jamie, I'm going to ask you to call the names, and if you're here, if you'll come forward, we'll recognize you as we go.
Yes, we've only got two categories tonight. We'll be doing 15 years of service and also 20 years of service. And I will, if you are here, call your name out. If you'll come up front, and they're going to present you with your pins, as well as I think Amy wants to get a photo. So 15 years of service, Chad Jordan, Water Department. Chad here. Susan Riggs, Superior Court. Shay Hovers, Police Department. There we go, Shay's here. I heard Lex here earlier, so. Jason Plouffe, Water Department. Troy Carter, Prison. And Tom Benefield, Recycling. So it looks like Shay is the guest of honor. Let's congratulate Shay on 15 years of service. And 20 years of service. Got one more, hang on. I don't know if we got someone here. Let me see. I know we got one here for sure. Natalie Stats, District Attorney's Office. David Jones, Facilities. And I think Danny's still here. Danny Womack, Tax Assessor's Office.
We have no proclamations tonight and no first readings. We have two second readings where we'll have a public hearing on two zoning, building and zoning matters that are coming up. I'm going to ask Art, who's director of our joint planning department with the city, if he will present those one at a time. After Art makes his presentation, we'll open the public hearing on each one of these. And those wishing to speak in favor will have up to 10 minutes. And those wishing to speak in opposition will have up to 10 minutes. And if there's any time left for rebuttal, that can happen at that time. After the public hearing will be closed, and we'll call on Commissioner Maxey, who is our representative on the Planning Commission, to present a motion on each of these items that we can consider. At that time, all the discussion will be among the board up here. So Art, if you would start us off with item 1.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, and good evening to everyone. The first item that we have is application SUP 22-07-01 at 3424 Maple Road. The owner and applicant is Brenda Wright. The request is to utilize the existing building as a walk-up restaurant, most likely will be a barbecue restaurant. The parcel is not located within the floodplain. There is public water available and public sewer available. We got no comments from the fire marshals, building officials, or engineering office. This property is not located within a historic district. Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, for a point of reference, this is the old depot location in Lindale. It is catty-corner from the train viewing platform and north of the Lindale Mill. We have a mix of zonings in the area. We have suburban residential and high-density traditional residential, with the subject property in question being NOC, or neighborhood office commercial. Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, that zoning district allows for a custom service restaurant as a potential use. Again, the request most likely will be for a walk-up barbecue restaurant. The staff has reviewed this with the applicants, and let me get to the pictures here. One of the questions that we had in regards to the property, the use of the property, is that the building itself pretty much occupies the lot. And so what we were looking at are potential parking areas. We have looked at some alleyways that are adjacent that could be utilized for parking. Here's the picture of the building. It's been pretty well maintained. So where you see the planning truck parked is generally where we think might be some options for some on-street parking, and then there's an alleyway around the corner there. And some pictures in the general area. Mr. Chairman, this request has a unanimous recommendation of approval from the Planning Commission, and also has a recommendation of approval from the Planning Department.
Thank you very much, Art.
Thank you.
We will now open the public hearing on item number 1. If you would like to speak in favor of this proposal, if you would come forward. You have a cumulative time of 10 minutes, so if there's several of you that wish to speak, please be considerate of the other people that would like to say something. So we'll open the public hearing and ask anyone who would like to speak in favor to please come forward and give us your name and address and make your comments. Seeing none, is there anyone here that would like to speak in opposition? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, and I'll ask Commissioner Maxey for any comments and a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve. I'd like to make a motion to approve based upon the fact that they do have a special stipulation to provide parking across the back alley on the lot.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Maxey, a second by Commissioner Wallace to approve the application with the parking stipulations. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wallace?
Yes.
Commissioner Maxey?
Yes.
Commissioner Hancock?
Yes.
Chair Bagby?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Number 2, Art.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. The next item we have is application number Z 220702 at 3686 Turkey Mountain Road. This is a request to rezone from agricultural residential to light industrial for a property that's approximately 2 acres in size. This property is not located within the floodplain. There are public water and sewer available on the property. We did have a comment from the fire marshal's office that any structure over 12,000 square feet is required to have fire protection for an S1 storage occupancy in accordance with the fire code. This will also require additional fire department access. I do believe there is adequate space for ingress and egress for the fire department. That was from Fire Marshal Mary Catherine. We did have a comment from building inspection as well. Mr. Martin's comments are, the applicant indicated this was for agricultural operations which are exempt from the development plan requirements. However, since they're rezoning, they're not subject to those requirements, and as such, any recommendations for approval must be conditioned upon development plan approval, which includes building, engineering, et cetera. We had no comments from engineering. Mr. Chairman, again, this property, I believe, we had a rezoning about a year ago for this, and it was going to be for agricultural uses. It's our understanding now that the property is either under contract or potentially under contract for a sale, and that use would be more industrial commercial storage, and thus the reason for the light industrial request. This is provided by the applicant showing what they previously had on the property or the current use. Here's some pictures of the property. When Bryce was out taking the photos, it's very close to the road, so he was trying to stay out of the road. Pictures of the building, Cherokee Mountain and Cross. Mr. Chairman, this request has a unanimous recommendation of approval from the Planning Commission. We do have a staff recommendation of approval as well. That is conditioned upon is conditioned upon the requirements for site development plans, since this will be potentially an industrial storage facility as opposed to agricultural residential. And I did speak with the applicant earlier. He's actually on his farm right now, and most likely was not going to be able to be here this evening.
Okay, thank you, Art.
Thank you, sir.
I don't know who took these pictures. Bryce, did you take these pictures?
Sir.
They might win an award at the fair. They're pretty good.
He had his
okay,
yellow vest on, so it made HR happy.
Thank you. We will now open the public hearing on item 2. The same rules will apply. Please give us your name and address, and this cumulative 10 minutes, so if more than one person wants to talk, please be respectful of that. Is there anyone here who would like to speak in favor of this proposal? Seeing none, is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this proposal? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. I'll ask Commissioner Maxey for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve with a special exception that we do have, it does furnish a development plan, engineering plan, stormwater retention, be approved by our building inspector, I guess, chief building inspector.
Thank you very much. Got a motion by Commissioner Maxey. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wallace. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wallace?
Yes.
Commissioner Maxey?
Yes.
Commissioner Hancock?
Yes.
Chair Bagby?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Now we have our special public hearing. It'll be our third public hearing we've had on the millage rate and the streetlight assessment for 2022. We will open the public hearing, and it'll be a little different than this kind of public hearing of those for or against. It will be mainly an opportunity for you to speak about this, and we ask you to be mindful of others that would like to speak and give us your name and address when you come up. So we'll open the public hearing on the millage rate for the county, M&O, fire, and solid waste at this time. Are there those who'd like to speak on this matter?
My name is Norma, 104 Westmore Road, Southwest. I'm actually interested in the solid waste matter. What's going on with the city and the county level? Is there 2 facilities for the process of the solid waste due to the increase of the development within the county and the city?
Let me mention that. We have 2 different departments. The city has a solid waste collections department, and they collect garbage, yard waste, recycling, junk and large limbs and debris, and you pay that through there is a service fee on your water bill based on your size of your bin, and then you also pay that through general fund taxes also as well. In unincorporated Floyd County, we don't collect garbage, we have remote sites.
We're talking about solid waste as black waters. Is that, yeah,
The black boxes,
No, she's talking about the black water waste that
yeah,
she spoke about before,
that's solid waste in my
like
definition.
sewage.
Sewage.
okay, you need to repeat the question, maybe I didn't
Okay.
understand the question. The county sewer or city sewer?
Yes, is there two facilities on the process?
There
Or
is
is it one?
there is actually 2 treatment plants in Floyd
Okay.
County. Both are owned by the city of Rome, maintained by the city of Rome. We have an enterprise agreement with the city of Rome to provide sewer to the unincorporated area, and that was done in 1988. Been that way for a long time. So city of Rome owns, maintains, and manages the sewer systems in the entire county.
What I'm concerned is the development, on the new development, adding to the system that is there now. Is there going to be a future increase? for
Well,
the
I'm
process?
outside of my jurisdiction, but I'll tell you, I did work for the city, so I'll tell you, there is capacity for additional sewage in the city's sewer plant system. There is excess capacity. I don't want to
But in
quote
the
how
county,
much,
there's-
but
okay.
yes, they have the ability to take on additional treatment
Mm-hmm.
within the 2 plants.
But I know in the county level, and the outside of the city, there is homes as well that uses the same system.
Correct.
So how does that, because there's increase.
Oh, yeah, there'll be an increase, but
The
what I'm
thing
telling you is,
due to, I've had experience with this matter, and that's why I'm questioning the situation on hand before it gets worse. We don't want residents to have shit, literally, up the toilet, because it could happen. And believe me, it does happen. When the pipe is too small, and then you increase it to a larger size, doesn't matter, but it'll come up. I mean, I know there's insurance and all that, blah, 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 but we want to have a situation before it happens.
I think we're safe and secure with
We hope so.
excess capacity. Again, not my responsibility. You may need to go 2 weeks from this past Monday to City Hall for this discussion, but they have capacity in the system. They are responsible for the system, 100%, even in the unincorporated areas. At one time, the county did own a single plant and have some sewer throughout Floyd County. They actually had multiple plants, but those plants have been shut down.
Because the reason why also around 2 a.m., 10 p.m. on the riverside, there's a lot of sewer smell.
Well, I'll forward your concern to the city manager, and I
So I'm
encourage
not
you to
sure if
visit.
that is exiting to the river.
No idea,
I mean,
but
one of those
yeah, if
things.
it's going into the river, that's a problem. That is a illicit discharge into the waterways of Floyd County.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
It's not often we get to hand off something to the city. That's good. Is anyone else who'd like to speak on the millage rate for the county millage rate? If not, we will close the public hearing on the millage
I
rate.
got one more, right?
Okay.
I'm Joey Enikin, 37 Rockwood Place, Rome, Georgia. I guess I'm here for information purposes. I'm trying to understand how this stuff kind of works out. I guess my question would be, as I said, as the millage rate increases and my property tax increases, is that correct?
We haven't set the millage rate yet. We have an opportunity to do that.
But if the millage
tonight.
rate increases, does my property tax increase? It does.
If your
Potentially.
appraisal of your property went up, probably it depends on your circumstances and your
Yeah.
exemptions if you have any. But if the value of your property went up, probably your property taxes under the system we've got now go up. That's what our job tonight is, to hear y'all and set the millage rate.
So how many consecutive years has the millage rate actually increased here in Floyd County?
Actually, I asked that question. Let me find it.
The last 3 years, Jamie, if I'm correct, the last 3 years, the millage rate has went down.
The reason I'm trying to understand how my property
really
tax
more than
doubles
3.
in 4 years. That's why I'm trying to understand that 4 years ago, I paid $863. This year, I'll wind up paying, I paid $1,267. And if another millage rate increases, then it'll be even higher. And so, my house to me isn't worth any more than it was. That's why I'm getting it.
It's actually not the millage rate, it's the value of the property appraisals are going up. The millage rate it's gone down.
5 in the last 6 years has gone
But the
down.
property of your value goes up. I'll give you a good example. On my road, they built 4 new houses on the road I live on. So mine went through the roof because the value of those houses compared to what the value I pay for my houses is a lot different.
So if the housing market drops, which I believe it will that decrease? It could?
Well, could, right?
It did during the last recession drastically.
I'm just trying to
As
understand.
your value goes down, the millage rate's applied to your value, lower value, less taxes.
Okay. I'm trying to, because if that's something that I need to try to appeal with the tax commission or whatever, I need to do to make sure that I got my end covered when that happens, because, I don't believe my house is actually worth $150,000, but they say it is. And so, in that, then, I guess I have a right to appeal with the tax commission that tax every year, right?
You have a right to appeal your assessment, yes.
And so then if the
You
housing.
should have gotten on your notification of what the new valuation on your property was a month or so ago. I can't
Yes.
remember when I got mine, but on that, you had listed when and how you could appeal the appraisal that you had, so.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well, thank you.
thank you.
I'm learning. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Is anyone else who'd like to speak? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing on the millage rate. Should we have both the public hearings, Virginia, before we have a motion on those? Okay.
Do those back to back.
All right, the second public hearing tonight is on the streetlight assessment for those in the county who have streetlights. And if you would like to speak on this assessment, I'll ask Mr. McCord, because we had a little half a cent off on our guesstimate on that before, if he could state that again.
Yes, let me describe the system. So this is a 100% pass-through for county residents that have street lighting. If you don't have street lighting, you don't pay. If you do have street lighting, you do pay per deed foot one time annually on your property taxes. There's no markup to this. As I said, this is the power bill from the utility provider divided by the deed footage for the power bill. In 2021, it was .062 or 62 cents per deed foot. Based on power rate increases for 2022, it is 0.64 or 64 cents per deed foot of frontage, and we do have ordinance in place to support that.
Thank you, Jamie. We will open the public hearing now on the streetlight assessment for Floyd County for areas that do have the streetlight. A lot of our areas do not have streetlights. Is there anyone that'd like to speak on this item? If not, thank you. We'll close that public hearing, and we have a resolution to pass on these items. And so we'll open up with a resolution on the 2022 millage rate for the Floyd County M&O, Floyd County Government, M&O, Fire Protection, and Solid Waste. And I'll ask Commissioner Hancock if he will lead that.
All right, just to clarify just a few things. On your tax bill, if you'll look at it, 2/3 of that tax goes to school tax. And that's, if you have an issue, as Ken was talking about with that, you can talk to the school board, because that's a separate governing entity. So I ask that every one of you look at your tax bill and see what your tax dollars are actually being spent on. That way you know where that money's going to. And then we have, this commission has lowered the millage rate 5 out of the last 6 years. We have rolled it back. And I want to continue to do that this year. So I'm going to make a motion that we roll back and lower the millage rate to 9.414, and we leave the fire tax at 1.650 and the solid waste tax at 0.656. I put that in the form of a motion.
Thank
And
you.
second.
There's a motion by Commissioner Hancock and a second by Commissioner Wallace. Is there further discussion on this item?
That is 50% of the rollback.
Yes, ma'am.
Just so everybody can understand that. That is a rollback of 50%.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wallace?
Yes.
Commissioner Maxey,
Yes.
Commissioner Hancock?
Yes.
Chair Bagby?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item, resolution will be to adopt a resolution for the 2022 street light assessment in the county.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the resolution at 64 cents per deed foot for 2022. Again, like our county manager stated, this is exactly what is charged for those street lights. So if you are a county resident and you have street lights, then you will be charged 64 cents per deed foot for 2022.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wallace, second by Commissioner Maxey on item 2 to adopt the street light assessment. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wallace?
Yes.
Commissioner Maxey,
Yes.
Commissioner Hancock?
Yes.
Chair Bagby?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 3, resolution is to consider adoption of a resolution calling for a referendum to regulate Sunday sales of packaged and on-premises alcohol beverages from 11 a.m. to 12 midnight on Sunday pursuant to OCCGA 3-3-7. And this is to match the city's already adopted and in place resolution on that item. So I will consider a motion on that item.
I make a motion to approve that be put in a form of referendum.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hancock, second by Commissioner Wallace to approve this resolution. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wallace?
Yes.
Commissioner Maxey,
No.
Commissioner Hancock?
Yes.
Chair Bagby?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And our last resolution is to consider adoption of a resolution for a Level 2 Freeport exemption pursuant to OCCGA 48-5-48.6. Is there a motion on this item? Hearing and seeing none, that motion or that resolution will not be adopted because of lack of a motion, lack of action. So it will remain the same. I have nothing from the chairman's report tonight. Does any commissioner have anything from their committees or their appointments that they'd like to mention tonight?
Mr. Chair, one item of note I think we need to go back and do is in addition to what you've already done, as part of our resolution, although Commissioner Hancock clearly stated we have no say in the adoption of the Floyd Board of Education millage, we need to acknowledge what they did on Monday night, and they set a millage rate of 17.95 for school taxes for unincorporated Floyd County.
Thank you. That was my fault for leaving that out of the discussion, but we do not set the school board, but we acknowledge the millage rate that they have set, which is actually almost 2/3 of your tax bill. So, Commissioner Hancock, do you want to add that as that we acknowledge their millage rate?
Yes, I'll add that in the form of motion and add that they lowered it as well, and they have continued to lower it over the last few years.
They lowered by 0.25. That's correct.
So they lowered theirs by half of what we did. So what is that number, Jamie, that is
17.95.
17.95 will be the millage rate that the school, and we're acknowledging that they have done that. So do I have a motion? A motion by Commissioner Hancock. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Maxey. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wallace?
Yes.
Commissioner Maxey,
Yes.
Commissioner Hancock?
Yes.
Chair Bagby?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Mr. McCord, you got anything from the manager's desk?
No, sir, no report.
All right. Ms. Harmon, anything from the law?
No, sir.
Thank you very much. We have a couple of items on consent agenda. I would like for everybody to remember that we're deferring item 2 for more information, and that'll come up at another meeting. We're adding item 4, which would move our regularly scheduled September the 27th meeting from 4 o'clock caucus and 6 o'clock meeting to a 10 o'clock caucus and a noon meeting because of a meeting that we need to attend. So, Ms. Elrod, is everything in order on that?
Yes, Mr. Chair, you got it correct.
Thank you so much. Is there a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Maxey, second by Commissioner Wallace to approve the consent agenda. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wallace?
Yes.
Commissioner Maxey,
Yes.
Commissioner Hancock?
Yes.
Chair Bagby?
Yes.
Motion carries.
We have 5 items under new business tonight, and I'm going to ask Mr. McCord if he would lead us through those.
Yes, sir. Item 1, consider request from Engineering Department for approval for installation of a speed table on Dixie Park Road Northeast. This request meets all the requirements in accordance with the Floyd County Speed Table Policy and was also approved by the Public Utilities and Transportation Committee.
Thank you. Is there a motion on item 1?
Make a motion to approve.
Second, the motion. We need to point out this is our first one under our new ordinance.
Yes, sir. The first one was actually on Burke Road, but it was prior to the policy, and this is the actual first one as part of the policy. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. I think this is a good policy. Motion by Commissioner Wallace, second by Commissioner Maxey to approve item 1. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wallace?
Yes.
Commissioner Maxey,
Yes.
Commissioner Hancock?
Yes.
Chair Bagby?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 2, consider request from Human Resources to approve contract of employment with Amy Burns for Human Resources Assistant Director. Her salary will be set at $78,000 annually.
Thank you. Is there a motion on item 2?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wallace, second by Commissioner Maxey to approve item 2. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wallace?
Yes.
Commissioner Maxey,
Yes.
Commissioner Hancock?
Yes.
Chair Bagby?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 3.
Item 3, consider request from Water Department to approve contract of employment with Troy Atkins for Assistant Utilities Administrator. His salary will be set at $92,000 annually.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion on item 3?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Maxey, second by Commissioner Wallace to approve item 3. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wallace?
Yes.
Commissioner Maxey,
Yes.
Commissioner Hancock?
Yes.
Chair Bagby?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 4.
Item 4, long time coming on this one. We have been working on this project diligently for many years now, and is a request to approve an option for the purchase and sale of real property for the Chubb Road right-of-way. As you are aware, we do have LMIG funds or Georgia DOT funds awaiting this project to get that underway. And the total expense for the right-of-way purchase and easements is $7,451.70.
Thank you. Been waiting a long time on this. Is there a motion on item 4?
Yes, I want to make that motion. Praise God. Yes.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hancock, second by Commissioner Wallace to approve item 4. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wallace?
Yes.
Commissioner Maxey,
Yes.
Commissioner Hancock?
Yes.
Chair Bagby?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And item 5, consider request from purchasing to award installation of computer technology and infrastructure to Logical Systems of Rome, Georgia, in the amount of $64,300. This is for the Floyd County Prison and was budgeted as a part of 2017 SPLOST. It is a first phase in the overall jails management system budget.
Thank you. Is there a motion on
Make a
item
motion
5?
to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wallace, second by Commissioner Maxey to approve item 5, and we always like when we can approve things that go to our local vendors. So please call the roll.
Commissioner Wallace?
Yes.
Commissioner Maxey,
Yes.
Commissioner Hancock?
Yes.
Chair Bagby?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Don't believe there's any other business to come before the group tonight. We did go into executive session in our caucus tonight to discuss property and legal matters, and no action was taken on those items. Anything else to come before the group? If not, we stand adjourned.